What's up, guys? It's John Dominique, aka Prize Pictures, and today I want to do another camera roll review. I know it's been a while since I've done one of these videos, but I do want to share what I'm working with and what I'm doing. Hopefully you can get some insight, and hopefully you can learn something about photography and maybe apply some of what I'm showing to your own photography. It's been busy these past few weeks. It's springtime in the city and the weather has been really nice. The light has been hitting pretty good, and been trying my best to take advantage of that and going out to different places. The one particular place I want to talk about is like this boat landing that I've frequented in the past multiple times. And I went there, and there was another place I kind of walked across like this little creek, and I didn't know that there was a whole nother side to this place. It was really cool. I found out that there's a whole like an amphitheater over there, and it's like a whole another side. There's a little pier on the side over there, and it was really great that I found it. Like the point is that keep exploring, because sometimes you might run into something that you didn't expect. I didn't expect to find this little section here, and I ended up getting a pretty decent photo going over there. So I'll show you the first photo that I got here. There was like this amphitheater section where there's like these shallow steps, and there's these hand railings, and there wasn't hardly anybody there. It was in the afternoon. I think I went there after work one day, but there was just like just one random person that was just kind of walking around with a water bottle, and he didn't see me. I was kind of sitting down on the actual amphitheater, and he was kind of towards the back, and he was walking, I guess, walking around towards the steps to go downwards. And I had my camera and my lens, and I took a couple of shots. I took multiple shots with the burst mode, and this is the one that I came up with. Now, I did edit these photos, this photo at least, to taste. Most of these in this video I've edited these to taste, and this one was a little weird because the ratio, the aspect ratio, I had to kind of scrunch it down a little bit so it's more of a square format. And I also had another version where the railings, if you count the railings, I always kind of want to keep them an odd number, but this one's like 6 railings on this one. I also have another one that has 7, which is more of a square shape. So it was kind of a trade-off. I'd rather have this kind of like a portrait shape of the aspect ratio instead of the 7 railings, but this photo came out okay. Now, the thing about it was it doesn't really like fit my, if you look at my Flickr page, it doesn't really fit as far as like polish, as far as the other photos that I have. I think it's because the railings are real thin and real skinny, and if you can look down at the bottom, like there is some shadows there. I wanted to highlight the shadows at the bottom of the railings, which I couldn't really do that well because just the angle I was at, and you know, it was in the middle of the day, and I think if I went back there at another time of day, the angle of those railings could really show up a little bit more, and maybe I might have a better chance. This photo has some good lines, and it has good proportions and good spacing, but I just think the railings are a little too thin for what I do. I want something a little bit more bold, but this is still a pretty decent photo nonetheless for that day when I just kind of went out. Wasn't expecting to take many good photos. I'm kind of surprised that I came out with at least one good photo that time, because you know, sometimes I go out there and I know sometimes I don't think I'm going to get a good photo, but I do come away with something sometimes, and this was pretty decent. So and yeah, so that park right there, I don't have to put a I have to put like a bookmark to make sure that I go back there and continue to check that spot out and check out the boat landing and the amphitheater, because I didn't really know that amphitheater was there. It was kind of cool. It was off in the cut, and I'm glad I was able to explore a little bit more and find some new territory. And that's kind of what I like doing, you know, when I have time off. I'm just walking around, with getting some fresh air, walking slow, methodically, and just looking at some shadows and what could make a good picture. And sometimes you just get lucky. Sometimes you just run into things, and that was some new territory that I'm happy that I found in that particular picture. And there was another park that I went to that I went with a friend. She invited me, and for some reason I've never been to this park before. I've been in that area once or twice, but I went to this park, and the first time I went there I fell in love. I was like, this is awesome. It's like a riverfront park, and it's got like a naval memorial there, and it's really nice. I went out there with her the first time. I didn't have a camera with me that first time, but I went back again another time, and I brought my camera this time, and I'm trying to find some angles and trying to find some pictures in this area, because it's got like this arch you can walk. It's got like a nice long sidewalk, and there's like it's on the river, a riverfront, and then there's like this arch, and you walk across a bridge. And if you can see this photo here, I did edit this one, and it's a crop on this one too. Now, this isn't the best photo again because the lines aren't bold enough for me. I'm thinking I want to maybe get closer to the railing and make that railing a little bit bigger to fill the frame more in the picture. Somehow, I don't know. I'm still working this area, trying to figure out what's the best possibility for me to make a really good photo. I think there's potential here because that arch is really nice, and it's got those lines, and it's leading like as a curve right into the gentleman that's holding the hand railing there towards the right. It came out okay, but it's just kind of sparse, I think, and the lines are not bold enough for me. It's not a bad picture. I just think I need to work the area a little bit more and try to get more angles and get some more ideas on what would make a really good picture here. This is solid, but it's not, I don't think it's the best photo that I can make there. Now I'm going to show you a couple other photos because I did some other angles and some other orientations. There's one, but I did a landscape photo, but this is on the other side of the pier. You can walk, and then you can see this one has a little bit more bolder lines because the way the light is falling. The problem with this one is that the light is hitting me almost directly straight in front of me, so it's hard to get the dynamics that I want in this photo. I thought this was going to be a great photo when I took it. I was like, this is for sure is going to be a good one. You can see towards the right there's some people there standing, and I wanted to get one person, but those people are very far away. You can hardly see them from where I'm standing, from that viewpoint where I'm at. I like that tree that's kind of in the middle there, towards the middle right. And I like the way the angle, the rule of thirds basically, and also the way, that curve is going towards the people. That's kind of like a leading line, which is cool. Now, I thought to myself, maybe if there was a little bit more drama in the sky, this might fill it out a little bit more. Or let me go to the next photo, because the next one has a different angle. You can see it's a portrait orientation, and I'm a little bit closer, and you can probably see the people a little bit better. But on this one, there was only one, I think it might be two people there at the very left-hand corner. And you can see them a little bit better on this one. So I think that would be a cool shot right there. I think this one has the best potential for me. But again, that light is coming at me directly, so I have to be very careful when I do take this photo. I want to preserve like the dynamics of the photo, because if you take a lot of harsh direct light, it could like really decrease the saturation, and it causes some problems. And you can see here there's some ghosting going on, and I don't know, maybe I need to bring a lens hood or something with this one, but I'm missing. The only problem with this one is the arch isn't included that much in it, and I'm okay with that as long as I get that tree back there and a good subject going through the frame. I'm thinking to myself, even if someone was coming towards the left-hand side on that bridge, on that walkway, or even on the right-hand side, that might also be good, as if to make them appear a little bit bigger in the frame. To get a subject walking through, that would be kind of cool to see. I'm trying to experiment to see what would make the best photo on this, but I don't know. I thought this was just a good initial play around. I'm just in there, just playing around, trying to see what I think would work best. And I'm gonna keep going back to this scene and try to work it as best I can and get the best photo out of it. There is another photo I kind of took in the same area, and I thought to myself, when I took the photo, it's a photo of a tree and then the arches are going over it. And I thought to myself, this might be a okay photo. It's a landscape orientation. There's no drama in the sky, and that's kind of the issue with it because it's so clean. And I thought to myself, if I come back, maybe I'm gonna bring my tripod and do a long exposure on this one. I think a long exposure would be great if we had just the right amount of clouds and they were moving at the right speed. A long exposure on this would probably be pretty cool. I don't know. I have to experiment and see. And I'm a little bit more of an angle, so the sun is more towards my right-hand side, which gives me more of a dynamic feel on this. And you can see those arches. You can see the details a little bit more in those arches. So, and I did edit this photo to taste as well too, FYR, just so that you know. The next set of photos I'm going to show you is from this past Wednesday. Actually, today's Friday, and I went out Wednesday and did a walk downtown. I'm just going to show you some photos that I did. This next one, I didn't really get much out of it. I was walking near this college, and it had like this back door to this building here, and it's got like this lattice type fencing at the top right, and the way the sun was casting shadows on it at the angle that it was coming, it was casting on the wall, and it looked okay. It looked kind of cool. And you can see there's a cone there at the bottom, orange cone at the bottom left. This was, I didn't get the angle I needed on this photo. It's just for future reference for me. I just take a photo and I mark that place, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to come back to this and try to make something of this one day. It just wasn't my time, I think, that day. But you get the idea. You can see that I'm, going for the patterns and the way the light is hitting. It's kind of at an angle, and it's a high contrast type of situation. So this has some potential, but this is just, an example of some of the photos, what I'm coming with, and just to kind of get a flavor and a feel for my style and what I'm trying to do. The next photo I took, I thought I was using a different lens, but I was using a narrow lens. I was using a 45mm on this, which is equivalent to a 90mm on my camera. And I was coming out of a parking garage, and I was walking down the street, and there was this parking deck. It was kind of near this hospital, and I tend not to go inside those buildings and in those places because there's sometimes security and people are walking through and they're looking at you funny. If I'm holding a camera, it gets kind of suspicious, and I'm taking pictures and I'm indoors, and there's this booth coming out of that parking garage, and it was empty, which was cool. So I was, I didn't feel as conscious as I would have if there was an attendant in that booth. And I saw the light hitting coming through those windows, and I turned around and I took a picture, and that's one of the pictures I took, like the best one. And I think it came out pretty good. It's very high contrast, and I just like the patterns in there. As you can see, that's what I'm coming with my photography, and that's my style, the lattice and the patterns and high contrast scenes. So I think that picture turned out very good. The next one is like, I can't remember, I don't even remember what this was. I'm thinking this was like some type of plastic, it was like a plastic covering on top of some type of cart or something like that. And I took a picture, and it's got some color to it. I think it's like a light brown, but I edited this heavy with Snapseed is the app that I use to edit, and I did a high contrast black and white, and it's just a cool looking pattern to me. So that picture came out good. I'm happy with that one. I think that might go in my Flickr feed, and in the one before that too might go on my Flickr feed. I kind of like both of those photos. Now the next picture, this is a good one, man. I thought this is the highlight of the day on that day on Wednesday. I was just walking, and there was just a corner, and I saw the leaves. There was like these leaves, and the way the shadow was casting on the wall on it, I took like 3 of these photos, 3 different photos, and I just kind of used the one that I think turned out the best. The other ones kind of were okay too. I just like this one the best, and it's just kind of interesting. Like, you know, you can tell that there are tree leaves, and then at the bottom right hand corner it's a little dirty because there are some leaves down there, but I wanted to keep it raw and keep it gritty and just see, you know, show that it's imperfect. I could easily just use like one of the tools in my app and just edit out those leaves on the ground, but I'm just going to keep them in there like that. I just like the way that looks, and it adds a little element of imperfection, which is cool with me. But I just like that photo. That's definitely going in my Flickr feed. That's probably the best photo of the day. One of the best photos of the day. The next one I'm going to show is this, I think it's a Hilton Hotel. I walk past this building pretty often on this one street, and if you go to the east side of this building, when the sun is setting, you get these reflections and you get these shadows that kind of cast on there. Now, the shadows here aren't that interesting, but it's just simple, and I kind of wanted maybe a little bit drama in the sky, maybe a few clouds wouldn't hurt in the sky, but you get the idea here. It's more bold patterns and hard shadows and high contrast situation. So, you know, you just get the basic idea of what I'm trying to do, what I'm coming with, and it's a theme, like, you know, in all my photos. And this next photo is not very thematic of me. It's not in my repertoire. It's not my style, but every now and then I like to break things up. I'll go and take pictures of flowers. Flowers are not my thing usually. And I shot this one with a macro lens that I got, which I don't normally use, but I wanted to try it out and just see what I could get. And sometimes the pictures come out great. This one, it's not the best photo. I cropped it to a 9:16 because I was inspired by another video I saw where someone was making they were showing their camera roll and they shot a picture in 9:16. And I was like, that looks kind of cool with a 9:16. And that's how I originally cropped it, but then I changed it back to 4/3 because it just fits better in the frame. But the photo was kind of nice. I like the colors on here, and it's vibrant. And I just kind of thought it was a nice photo. It was okay to share. You know, again, I'm not a flower guy. That's not my thing. But I like to every now and then break it up if I get too. Sometimes I get like bored doing the same thing over and over, so I just kind of switch it up every now and then, and it doesn't hurt to do some flowers, do some macro, and do something different a little bit, and change it up a little bit. Now, the same thing with that very first photo that I showed, it doesn't seem like it fits my style. Like when you go to my Flickr feed, it doesn't actually fit in there according to all the other photos. It's not as polished, it's not as bold, but I put it up in my feed for a while just to see what it would be like to change it up a little bit, to say, hey, I'm not always going to be perfect. It's okay to have a little bit of different style. You don't always have to stay in the same box. And that's the beauty of photography and art. It's an art and a science. And the art side of it, you know, the artists usually, you like to mix things up a little bit, you know, at least I do. But anyway, that flower is a nice photo. I'm going to keep it for a little bit and maybe share it with a few other people. And then some other photos that didn't come out that great, but I just kind of want to show you, you know, the trials and tribulations that I got to go through, the trial and error method that I have. So I walked past this pot with, you know, very little. I like, you know, flowers, like, you know, don't get me wrong, I like flowers a little bit. But I'd rather shoot stuff like this with twigs and dead branches and stuff like that, because they usually pop in black and white, and if you get the right pattern and the right angle, you could get something good. This one is okay. It's just a old pot sitting on a ledge. Now I wanted to get the angle of that shadow in the background towards the top left. I wanted to get that to be highlighted more, and it's not. So this photo doesn't work as well as I wanted to, but this is just an idea, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of the idea of what I'm trying to get. But that shadow just wasn't bold enough. It was a little too far away, and it just wasn't, it's not bold enough for me. But, you know, it's an idea, and you can kind of see what I'm coming with and just see what I'm trying to do with that one. And the next one is a little bit different because I saw this one and I actually cropped in to this. There was like these red leaves that were glistening in the sun, and there was a red building in the background, and I wanted to highlight I wanted the red on red, kind of to make it like matching colors there. It didn't work that great because that background wasn't the greatest. That building wasn't big enough for those leaves to fit the way I wanted them to. And then there's the power lines back there, and then there's a car back there, which I kind of don't like. And I already cropped this photo pretty heavy. And I thought to myself, maybe for future reference, when I get my next camera, I want something maybe that's easy to crop in. I know some of those Nikons have high resolution where if you crop in, it doesn't lose much image quality. And I think that might be helpful for me, because sometimes I might just get a little part of the photo that I want, but if I crop in too much, it just kind of becomes, the quality isn't that great. But this was an idea that I wanted to share that I think in the future is something that I do want to try to utilize as a tool in my belt, red on red or blue on blue, green on green, something like that. And one of the other photos in here has something kind of similar. I'll show it to you now. It's this one with the colors on here. I want to say it was a garage, and there was like a Powerade, what do you call that? Like a Coke machine to the left, as you can see. It's like in blue, and then there's some red cones, orange cones in the middle, and then there was a yellow. I guess it's like a caution sign that you would put on the ground if there's water on the ground to let people know it could be slippery. And I thought the colors came together pretty cool on this one, and I like that color scheme. I like the blue, orange, and yellow like that. The middle ground wasn't the greatest because it's kind of dirty, and it's not. I like my photos, on a clean surface. My background's on a clean surface. But I like the color schemes on this one. This is just, hey man, I'm walking around, I see this, I just took a picture, take a snap. Why not? It might come out cool. And this was okay, just all right. But the color schemes, I like colors, and I like black and white, to be honest with you. But more and more, this camera that I have, the colors are beautiful in here. I can't not shoot color with this camera, and I kind of like that. It keeps me on my toes. I can go back and forth. I'm almost like a hybrid shooter. I shoot color and black and white. This next photo was like outside of a church I went to. There's like this graveyard. You can go in there and see the cemetery, because it's like a real old city. And I came out of there, and the way the fencing was hitting off that post there, it gave a little bit of a pattern, but that pattern to me is not clear enough. It's not rigid enough. It's not, it doesn't, I might have to crop it from the bottom to crop that rounded part out. I might just crop it into 16:9 or something, and that might be okay. And it's white. That white post goes okay with that white truck that's coming there to the very left, and that might be a cool little photo. So I might just try to edit that a little bit later. And it's just white on white. Again with the color scheme, it's just something to look for sometimes when I take pictures. Just practicing, sharpening my skills. And then this next photo was on the side of a building. There's like a staircase, and a metal staircase, and it was casting light the way it was coming down. And it's got, the problem with this one again is the lines were real thin, and then when I went to edit it, it didn't come out that great when I edited it. It looks okay the way it is right there, but I don't think I'm going to do anything with it, but it's just an idea of show you the lines that I'm looking for, the styles, and I'm pointing the camera upwards on this one if you can't tell. So that was a photo. I don't think I'm doing anything with it, but I just wanted to share. There's a couple more photos here. This one, I wanted to try to get inside this. I wanted to shoot inside that window. This is like a store, a storefront. And there's a bench outside for people to sit down. I kind of don't like that bench. It's in the way. It's really blocking things for me. But I wanted to kind of get inside where those round chairs are at and just get the shadows of those chairs, the roundness, and then that line in the middle. And I couldn't get in there. I just, sometimes when I see something, I'm like, man, it was so close. But I don't think I can do anything with this photo because of the angle of that seat that's there. And the idea was in my head, and I saw it, and I'm not going to go inside that store and say, hey, can I take a picture? Maybe I will one day. I don't know. I'm not the type of person to do that. But that's kind of what I would have to do to get the photo that I really wanted. I'd have to go inside there, and I'm not gonna do that with my camera and people look at me crazy. I'm not gonna do that. But the next photo is the side, a brick, and then a gate, and I liked the way the shadows were. I think this is like a convention center or something like that. And then there's the shadow. I don't know how that light was falling, because in between the buildings, like there's the roof, and it gives you like a real skinny slit of light, and that slit of light was going across that the railing on that gate, and it had those circles that were connected, and it gave a cool looking kind of shadow. I wanted to highlight that green in there. To me, the background on this, the bricks, is taken away from it. I wanted more of a clean background, but this is an idea that I saw and I thought it looked okay, and I took a picture, and I think that's an okay photo. I'm not going to do much with that. And then the next photo, the last one I'll share, is just like this flower. And again, I don't really do a whole lot of flowers, but I took the macro lens out again, and this one, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think I'm going to share this one, because what I'm focusing on is not what I wanted to focus on. Focus on that green thing there at the top left, and I wanted to focus on the middle of that flower. And I need to practice more with that macro lens, because I'm still I don't use it that much, and I want to continue to practice and use it. It's a very great lens, and I do enjoy using it. And I think I want to continue to grow my skills in different ways, and not just the macro lens. Also, I'm looking at getting some type of a zoom lens. I'm sorry, the video cut off because it gave me a limit. I was at 30 minutes, and I was talking about I sold my Olympus lens. Not my Olympus lens, but I sold my Olympus EP3 out of the blue, just for no reason. I wasn't even thinking about selling it, but I sold it because I just felt I wasn't using it. And but the thing was about it, I was on eBay and I saw an Olympus EPL1. It's the same thing. I wanted something with a viewfinder. I was looking at the Panasonics, but I can't bring myself to get a Panasonic because it doesn't fit with what I got right now. I wanted something on the Olympus side, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of money. So I ended up getting an EPL1, which was pretty cheap, and it's coming with a lens, a 14 to 42 lens. And I've been telling myself I want to get a zoom, and I think this would be a good way to introduce myself to see if a zoom would work. Because when I go out and I'm taking photos, sometimes, I have to switch lenses every now and then, and I'm thinking to myself, man, maybe I should just get a zoom lens. I just want to try it out and just see. This might be a good way to dip my toe in the water to see if that would be more convenient for me. The zoom lenses are a little bit bigger, and they're not as optically clear as the primes, but I'm gonna try it out and see. And the lens, I know it's pretty light. It's a kit lens, 14 to 42 f3.5 to 5.6 or something like that. I'm gonna see how that works and put it on my EM1 Mark II and just walk around and see if maybe that might be helpful for me, because I don't, a lot of shallow depth of field, I don't need that a whole lot. I don't use it that often, so maybe I'll be okay to compromise and get a lens that zooms, because it's a little bit more convenient, I know, and I haven't really tried that much. So I'm gonna start with that. It's cheap enough. So I bought the EPL1, it's on the way with a 14 to 42 kit lens. I'm gonna try that kit lens out and see if maybe that might be helpful. And if it is helpful, maybe I'll sell my primes and get maybe a pro zoom. I'm thinking if the, the 12 to 40 f2.8 Pro, that's one that I could probably use. Now again, I know that lens is a little bit bigger and a little bit heavier, so it might not be convenient for me, but it's worth a shot. I'm trying to expand myself, expand my arsenal, and expand my tool set and see what happens. And I always kind of wanted to get a zoom lens, because some of those photos, when I see birds and stuff, I'm always like, man, I gotta get something. Even if it's a bad lens, sometimes it's better than nothing. I was very much looking at the Panasonic 35 to 100 f4 to f5.6, which is like an equivalent of a 70 to 200 on most full frames and stuff like that. So I was thinking about getting that one. It's a couple $100, a little bit of an investment for me. I don't have a lot of money. I'm not a rich guy, but I do want to experiment and see what else is out there. Now I'm rambling a little bit. You know, this video has been longer than 30 minutes, but I kind of wanted to just share it with what my mentality is, what I'm going through, what I have, and give you an update. Maybe I'll do another one of these videos pretty soon. I will be going out again, probably tomorrow, and maybe I'll have some more content for you in the near future. So let me know what you guys think. Any comments, questions, suggestions. I'm open to all of that. Like my video, subscribe to my channel, and all that good stuff. It's John Dominique, Prize Pictures. Peace.